Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are MC.
The Royals unveiled another crop from the farm system last night, a farm system that is the best in baseball, filling up the big league roster and helping the Royals to a winning record through the first month of the season. A first overall pick will take the mound tonight against the Oakland A's on Fox Sports Kansas City. It was another gorgeous day in Kansas City today, and now it's a great night to be at the ballpark. Two second-place teams hooking up, the hitting strong Royals and the pitching strong Oakland A's. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And the Royals' season has been exciting already, but there was a different level of excitement here last night with Eric Hosmer's Major League debut. Some people said it felt like a playoff game, and that's what the Royals had in mind when they called up Eric Hosmer.
Well, they really did, Ryan. When he came up and the fans stood up, and I haven't seen that in a long time, and he also had that late in the game, too. But turning this 3-6-3 double play really got the fans excited about the first baseman over there. Being a left-handed first baseman made it even more special.
Made that play in the very first inning. He ended up with a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts. And if you're a first-round pick transitioning to the big leagues, this is the team to be on because the Royals are full of first-round picks.
Well, you're right, and he doesn't have to feel like he's a man on an island by himself. He's got a lot of help, a lot of guys who broke in as first-round draft choices, and they will be able to make him feel real comfortable in that clubhouse.
And Eric Hosmer didn't end up with a hit last night, but he watched another first-round pick, Alex Gordon, go to the opposite field against Gio Gonzalez.
Well, Alex Ryan's got to be having the greatest time of his life. It took him a while to get to this point, but he's staying with the plan. He's getting good pitches ahead, and he's staying gap to gap in the outfield.
And now, former first-round pick Luke Hochevar will take the mound. He is coming off a win against Minnesota, and he's facing a team he has never beaten. We'll talk more about Hochevar and what he will face tonight when we come back. by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Before Eric Hosmer made his big league debut, the story was going to be last night that David DeJesus was returning to Kansas City.
Well, David coming to Kansas City was kind of big. You always have to come back to your former team and do well. But last night, Eric Hosmer overshadowed all of that.
Here's the A's batting order presented by Southwest Airlines. Luke Hochevar is 0-5 in 5 starts against the A's, but they are one of the more weaker hitting teams in the American League. They'll get 2 regulars back in there tonight. Derek Barton at first base and Cliff Pennington at shortstop. Luke feeling pretty good after beating Minnesota earlier on this homestand.
Well, Ryan, Luke came out his last start and just pitched aggressively with his fastball. He recorded 11 ground ball outs, and I think that's where the confidence comes. So if he can just continue to be aggressive, he will continue to build confidence.
Here are the Royals defensively behind him tonight, and it'll be Chris Getz at second base. Mike Aviles will be at third. Matt Trainer behind the plate for Hochevar. So Ned Yost decides to go with Mike Aviles over Wilson Betemit at third, and why not? Aviles has a 6-game hitting streak. He is 5th in the league in RBIs after getting an RBI triple last night against the A's. It's the Royals and the A's, and the first pitch is next. Stadium in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. We go out to right field and welcome in Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks a lot. You guys mentioned that David DeJesus kind of overshadowed yesterday. He had a press conference with the media, and he's talking about how this team, he does have ties to it. It's great to be back, but he was trying to go over the pitching reports, and he didn't even know much of the pitching staff. Couldn't offer a lot of insight because there have been so many changes with the Royals. When that news conference finished up, he walked out, and he said, wait a minute, how do I get to the field? He had never gone to the field from that way. One other thing, one of his teammates today went up to him and said, hey, I've got a friend of the family that's graduating. She is a huge fan with you, absolutely obsessed. Can I get a ball signed? Guys, some things have never changed.
Although we all wondered what David would look like in white shoes. And now we know.
Well, Kelly Green and gold.
So Luke Hochevar, start number 8. 3 wins, 3 losses. Still a high ERA at 5.48. And how does 5.48 match up with a 247 opponent's batting average? That doesn't seem to make sense, except there might be some walks mixed in. And he walked 4 in his last start, a win against Minnesota on Sunday. The Twins had base runners in 5 of 7 innings. 3 of those walks were to struggling hitters, but in the end, Luke pitched very well with men on base and gave up 3 runs in 6 1/3 innings.
He pitched a lot more aggressively with his fastball. He comes out today with 2 consecutive fastballs, and just that's where the aggressiveness comes from. And you establish your fastball, maybe try to move it to the inside outside corner, then mix it in your off speed, but it's got to follow your fastball command.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Coco Crisp. Luke has never beaten the A's. In fact, he hasn't even come close to beating the A's. 5 starts, 5 losses, and an ERA right at 9. He is facing an A's team that is 11th in the league in hitting. They have scored the 2nd fewest runs in the American League, and they have hit the 3rd fewest home runs. So this is a different lineup from the ones he has faced in the past. Curveball is a little bit high, 2-2.
Well, 1 and 2, when you throw a curveball, you don't want it to stay this high. If anything, you want to either spike it down in the ground or throw it down to the back leg and go for the strikeout on a 1-2 count.
Back with a fastball. That was at 95 miles an hour. 2-2 on Coco Crisp. 0 for 3 with a walk last night, and he was caught stealing for the 3rd time this year. A call he did not agree with and got into it with then second base umpire Alan Porter. 3-2. The last time the A's were here, you might remember Coco Crisp was leading off against Zach Greinke, and he had a ball that was called foul off the first base side. They argued and they overruled it and gave him a double. Nobody had ever seen that before. Coco is 0 for 4 in this series, and a good start for Luke Hochevar. Beautiful day today, 81 degrees at first pitch. It's going to be warmer tomorrow for the day game. We started right on time at 6:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCI. Nice crowd on hand tonight. We had over 30,000 last night. Tonight the Royals are honoring the old Kansas City A's, and the first 20,000 fans getting a free hat tonight. Here's a strike to Derek Barton.
You know, I thought back to the old A's. The only thing I ever knew were the Kelly Green and gold when I was a kid growing up. I didn't realize that there was a different color, the red, white, and blue before that.
No balls and 2 strikes. So there's the cap that was given away tonight, and Kansas City A's alumni were recognized before the game, and many signing autographs afterward. We're going to have Tommy Lasorda up here in the broadcast booth in the 3rd inning. Still 0-2 on Derek Barton.
Well, you take a look at why a catcher's job is tough. That's it. You take a look at why they wear those helmets. That's the reason there.
Still 0-2. And you pointed out before that back in the, well, most recently is the 70s maybe, and before that, catchers, they would wear their hat, no helmet, and just the mask on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Quirk did it for a little bit, and I can think back to watching some of the old catchers who just flipped the bill of their cap up, put the mask on top, and go. And you have to think that if they were that way, they probably didn't sit as close to the batter. They may have had to move back further in order to, because they basically had to know who the hitter was. They had to know who had that long back swing, and they could catch him in the top of the head. But I've seen Jamie Quirk get hit there, even with the helmet on, and draw blood. I mean, it's not a good feeling.
Went too far in a curveball. 2 down in the 1st inning.
We saw Luke on a 1-2 count, and his curveball stayed up. But this is what you really want the curveball to look like when you're going for the strikeout. And that was a real good curveball by Luke Hosmer.
That's also a good look right there at what the hitter is seeing. Luke Hosmer is in the shadows, and we brought this up during the 6-10 games. It's more difficult now for the hitter to pick up the ball. A bright backdrop, yet the pitcher is not in the full sunlight. So that's the batter's eye, as they call it. That's what the batter is picking the ball up against. And in every ballpark, that is a dark painted surface. David DeJesus slices it to left center. Alex Gordon runs it down, running into the sunlight, and down go the A's in order. With a strikeout, and now the Royals are coming up against Brandon McCarthy with this lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Chris Getz will go back to the leadoff spot. He'll be at second base. Eric Hosmer will bat sixth again. Mike Aviles will be at third, and Matt Trainer, as he has been all season, behind the plate for a right-hand pitcher, and that's what the Royals will be facing. Right-hander Brandon McCarthy.
Well, Brandon McCarthy, after changing that arm angle, really induces ground balls. He last outing had 13 ground ball outs, and I think that's the biggest difference. He kind of tilted over to his left side a little too much. They straightened him up and created more of a high three-quarter arm slot.
A strike to Chris Getz, who did not play last night. Chris batting at .242. Up the left field line and foul. Brandon McCarthy, once a big prospect in the White Sox organization, and then was traded to Texas. And at the time, the baseball world thought the White Sox were crazy to give up on Brandon McCarthy. The White Sox received a couple of prospects in that deal. No names at the time. John Danks and Nick Massett. And that deal has worked out a lot better for Chicago than it did for Texas. That is a catch, even though LaRoche throws to first base, so Getz lines out to second. Defensively for the A's, it's Josh Willingham, Coco Chris, David DeJesus in the outfield, Kevin Kuzminoff at third, a new middle tonight. Cliff Pennington, Andy LaRoche shifts over to second base. Derek Barton is at first, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. David DeJesus with the sunglasses on. He will be fighting the sun for a couple of innings, but he knows all about that, having played many games here in right field. His consecutive errorless game streak is now at 269. That is the longest of any major league outfielder, as Melky Cabrera grounds out. 241 of those games with the Royals, and that's a Royals record for consecutive errorless games by an outfielder.
You know, Ryan, it's kind of tough. You know, I've never been traded, so I've always played with the same team. But, you know, David spent so much time here, and this is his first trip back. I mean, he's got to be having all kind of emotional things going through his brain right now. This crowd used to root for him real hard, and he used to perform well in the outfield. And so I would think he may not admit this, but he's got to be thinking about a whole bunch of things right now.
Alex swings at the first pitch, and McCarthy needs only 6 pitches to get through the first. And before we begin the second inning, here's tonight's video fan question of the night.
Hi, it's Jeremiah from Kansas City. Frank, I got a question for you. What are your best memories from going to the Kansas City A's games?
Well, Ryan, this has got to be really quick. There's a lot of things about that old ballpark I like the rabbit who popped up out of the ground for the umpire to get the balls out, put in that to give back to the pitcher. They had the little button in the middle of home plate where the umpire would hit a button and blow the dirt off a home plate. They had a lot of good things there. And George Toma would let us into the stadium in the 6th inning, so we could go down there and stand in the booth outside the general admission and watch the game. And then, you know, all the Charlotte Finley's things, you know, the lambs on the hill, the donkey, you know, Charlie O, the little band on the little pennant porch in the right field corner. Just a lot of great things. But probably most memorable would be my high school sit above the stadium. And so we would had a gym class at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so they let us stand up there and look over in the stadium and watch the game for a while. And there's lots more.
Hey, we're listening. And we bring that up because the Royals are honoring the Kansas City A's. They were here through 1967 and headed out to Oakland. No Major League Baseball in Kansas City in 1968. And then the Royals began in 1969. Kansas City A's alumni are here. And Tommy Lasorda, who played for the Kansas City A's and now a Hall of Fame manager, will be joining us in the 3rd inning. Now look at that hat.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that'll keep the sun out of your eyes. That was Charlie O's hat.
I see little holes on the side.
Alex retires Hideki Matsui, so Lou Kochaver has set down the first 5 tonight. Matsui now 0 for his last 10.
Yep, those are the uniforms I remember. Dave Rickensham, George Toma.
There's George Toma.
Diego Segui.
Did George Toma remember you when you got to the Royals, and did you remind him that you were the kid that he used to let into the game for free?
I reminded him, and then he remembered me after that.
And then I'm sure shortly after that he just reminded you, don't spit any bubble gum on his artificial turf.
Tobacco, bubble gum, no nose.
Great pitch. And it's 0-2 on Kurt Suzuki.
Luke being aggressive right here, right on the corner. That's where he wants to be. He can't get hurt right there. There's no way in the world. Now the 0-2 pitch. Now that's the pitch that he's got to be careful with.
On the ground to Escobar. Good start for Hochevar. 6 up, 6 down. Sprint you call it question. If you haven't heard already, Justin Verlander has pitched a no-hitter against the Blue Jays in Toronto. 1 walk, 108 pitches, so we've had 2 no-hitters this year. Who do you think has had the most impressive of the 2? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, then A or B. When you send in your text, you'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint giving you details on how you can register for a suite here at Kauffman Stadium for you and 11 guests. So 9 up, 9 down between Hochevar and Brandon McCarthy. Billy Butler, Jeff Francoeur, Eric Hosmer in the second inning. Billy was 0 for 4 last night, so he dips below 300. He is at 293. The A's pitched him very well last year. He hit only 200 against Oakland. 2-1. It's been a long time since Brandon McCarthy has faced the Royals. It was 2006. So there are several players in the lineup tonight that have never faced Brandon McCarthy. That is a foul ball. So Butler back to home plate with the count 2-2. Only Chris Getz and Melky Cabrera have faced Brandon McCarthy. And then you wonder how helpful that's going to be, because as you said, Frank, he has changed the way he's pitched.
Well, he definitely has, and I think that's where you look at guys and the guys that can make those adjustments, and as well as he has, and then all of a sudden, he's Brandon McCarthy again. So I think anytime you can make adjustments and they work for you, then it just says a lot for your career and your character and things like that.
Injuries really hit him when he went to the Rangers. He was on the disabled list 4 times, twice because of a stress fracture in his right shoulder. He only won 13 games when he was with Texas. Meanwhile, John Danks, who was the Rangers' big prospect going to the White Sox, he's won 46 games and counting for Chicago. Up the right field line and foul. It's interesting how public opinion changes. I remember, as I said earlier, when the deal was made, people wondered, what is Kenny Williams doing? How do you trade away good pitching? And then shortly after that, when John Dank started pitching well, then the Rangers were criticized for giving up on him. Good pitch in on the hands. May not have been a strike. And LaRoche goes out from second base. 1 away. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and we have your gift covered. Join the Royals and the A's at 1:10 tomorrow. We'll have a Mother's Day celebration. The first 10,000 ladies will receive a Royals tote bag presented by Hy-Vee. And if you're wondering about the pitching matchup, it's Jeff Francis and Tyson Ross. Francoeur pops it foul, backing out of play. Francoeur 1 for 4 with a double, a hustling double. He's had at least 3 of those this year, and we were talking in the booth before the game. We're not talking about speed now, but is Jeff Francoeur one of the best, if not the best, base runner the Royals have right now?
Well, I agree with you. He took a nice turn around first base. He knew right away he was going to go for 2, and they always say you don't have to be the fastest guy on the team to be the best base runner. But he's been really heads up.
Well, I guess he was just rung up. Bill Miller making it clear to everyone here tonight, which we like. We don't like when the strike 3 is a secret. Brandon McCarthy has his first strikeout.
Now the backup slider, it just stays right on the inside corner. And those are hard to hit. As a hitter, you see the ball start to go away from you, and you try to track it, and all of a sudden it backs up, and it just throws you all off at the plate.
So Eric Hosmer, and I'm sure today feels a lot more like just a baseball game, where yesterday, with everything surrounding his major league debut, the press conference, the family here, the standing ovation, the nerves of playing your first big league game. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, even the crowd's different. I mean, the crowd accepts him as a player now. Yesterday, they were just excited that he was here, standing ovations a couple times. But tonight, it's another ball game.
Good looking swing. There's a target for him out in the Pepsi party porch. He is capable of hitting that and then some.
Well, when he decides to let the bat go, he lets it go. I mean, it's almost like he's swinging a little bit too hard. Normally he would take that ball and drive it into left center field, but probably still got that churning going on, just trying to get that first base hit. He wants to be aggressive, and sometimes you can be just a little too aggressive.
Left center field, and coming over from left is Willingham. And with that play, Eric Hosmer will have to wait another at bat. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. By Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. And by Steel. Are you ready for a steal?
You're a hell of a player, buddy.
Well, this is a huge thrill for me because when I was a little kid growing up around Dodger Stadium, and before I even knew what an uncle was, I had Uncle Tommy, and Hall of Fame manager Tommy Lasorda is joining us here in the booth. Good to see you.
I'm fine, thank you. And I can't tell you how nice it is to see you again. Because I remember you when you were a little squirt hanging around the clubhouse and everything, and now look at you. I can honestly and truly say I said I'm maybe the only guy that knew you when you were poor.
Well, I tell people this, but you know, Tommy's office was famous, Frank, because he had pictures with every celebrity you ever wanted to meet, but he had a refrigerator in there, and I think us kids, we had better privileges than your players did as far as going through the refrigerator.
Absolutely.
So you're here tonight with the Kansas City A's.
Yeah, I played here in 1956, and I tell you, it was really a great city. I'm sure Frank feels the same way. He was here many years. But they're nice people. See, Kansas City, to me, it's a big city, but with a little town attitude, a little town heart. You think it's a small town by the way the people react, but it is a big city. So that's what makes it. You know, it's not the buildings, it's not the highways, it's the people. They make a city. And you know, when you come to the Midwest like this, they're the bloodline of the United States. They're the people who work hard. They believe in God, and they believe in marriage, and they believe in hard work. That's what this section represents to me in this country.
That's good to hear coming from you. I mean, we should put those words on a billboard here in town.
Put them on there.
Time I used to watch the Dodger games on TV, and I always wondered why you were the only manager that I've noticed had a coffee pot in the dugout.
I'll tell you, they wouldn't put it in the dugout with me because it wouldn't maybe last 2 days. You know what happens when things go wrong. Start throwing things. And you know, I came here and played in Kansas City in the Junior World Series.
Really? Can you hang on for another half inning here?
Absolutely.
Quick inning for Luke Hochevar and the Royals.
You know, we drafted that kid.
Shirley Hemingway, her son was killed in the 9/11 attacks, and with the recent news over in Pakistan, that's brought closure to a lot of families. And Shirley is here tonight with her husband Bob, the parents of Ronald John Hemingway, and they're enjoying the game in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat. We have no score to the bottom of the third inning. We're joined in the booth by Hall of Fame manager Tommy Lasorda. Speaking of Buck O'Neil, if they had a wing in the Hall of Fame for just baseball ambassadors, you and Buck would have plaques right next to each other.
Well, let me tell you something. Since I was inducted into Baseball's Hall of Fame, I was there every year. But I didn't go one year when they did not put Buck O'Neil in the Hall of Fame. They put 13 guys in the Hall of Fame, and not this man who represented his color. He represented his country in the greatest fashion. You never see the guy complain about anything. He loved life. He loved the game of baseball, and they didn't put him in, and I didn't go because I think the world of him. You know, he got me to come and speak to the Hall of Fame here, and the guy that runs the Hall of Fame said, "Hey, Buck, what you doing getting this white boy to come here to speak?" And Buck said, "Yeah, wait till you hear him." He said after I got through talking to the guy, I said, "Hey, Buck, can you get him back again?"
Well, you were a great motivator as a manager and had great success with the Dodgers. The Royals have a very young team now, Tommy. What gets young guys acclimated, confident at this level?
You know, I'm fortunate to say that I had 9 National League Rookies of the Year, and nobody's come close to that. And simply because I played young players, I believed in them, I made them believe in themselves, and I played them. That's how you get Rookies of the Year. You let them play, and then make them believe that they can play. They tell me they have a good farm system here now. Take those young guys and bring them up. Get rid of these guys that can't do the job anymore, making all kinds of money, and let those youngsters play and let them play until they become outstanding major leaguers.
Well, there's people standing and cheering in their living rooms right now when they hear that, Tommy, because last night we had a young player named Eric Hosmer make his major league debut, and we had a huge bump in attendance just because of that.
That's good. The fans, if the fans know you're trying to give them a great team, then they'll go along with that. They'll be patient. But if you don't, they're not going to come out and watch the team play. If they've got guys that can't play the game like they want to see, they can't play the game aggressively, they can't play the game in a fashion that they're supposed to. Put the young guys out there. That's how he got to be a star. That somebody believed in him and somebody made him play. That's how you become a Rookie of the Year or MVP of the Year.
Yeah, I really think that's been the biggest difference in this since Dayton Moore took over. He gave the fans a direction. He said, "I'm going to build my minor league system," and because we were depleted in the minor leagues and in the major leagues, and he told them to build this system, and then we can feed ourselves. And now they're number one in baseball, and now we saw the first part of it with all the young rookie pitchers that we brought up, and now we got Eric Hosmer last night, and I think the fans saw the direction and they believe in the direction.
There's 2 ways to win a championship.
Can you hang on one more half inning, Tommy?
Sure.
Sorry to cut you off.
That's all right. It was a fast inning.
turbo speed pitch comparison, and it is a good comparison. Both Luke Kochaver and Brandon McCarthy up to 95 so far tonight, and now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo. We're visiting with Hall of Fame manager Tommy Lasorda, who is here with other Kansas City A's alumni, and we were talking about the Hall of Fame in the last inning, and your thoughts is echoed throughout this region about Buck O'Neil not being in the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to brag on my partner here, Tommy. We believe with 8 Gold Gloves and a World Series championship and an American League Championship Most Valuable Player award.
How do you think Ozzie Smith got in the Hall of Fame?
I was going to ask you.
He got in with his glove. This guy played 18 years. Why not?
I don't know. You tell me. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, I get the vote. I get the vote for managers and umpires.
Okay.
That's the committee I'm on. So that's the way it goes. If you'd have put Bob Gibson on the umpire thing, he'd never vote for any umpire. He hated them all.
Well, when we realized you're going to be on with us tonight, we were talking about, now, of course, I have more memories of you personally, and then, of course, growing up as a Dodger fan, but some of us with our broadcast crew and what they remember about you, speaking of umpires, was your famous conversation on the mound during the World Series when a particular umpire, I think, was trying to speed you along, and you brought some you tried to lighten up the situation and turn it over to the umpire.
I wasn't lightening up. I was looking down the bullpen for that guy to show me a sign he was ready. So I asked the umpire, I said, look, you got to help me. We've been friends a long time. Who should I bring in at this particular time? He said, Tommy, I can't do that. I said, are we friends? Yeah. Well, I'm asking you as a friend. I'm not talking to you as Tommy Lasorda and so. I'm asking you as a friend, what would you do in this situation? He said, come on, Tommy, you can't do that. I said, I'm depending on you to give it to him. As soon as I saw that sign, he said, well, okay, bring in the left-hander. I said, I want the right-hander.
Well, good pitching tonight, Tommy.
Very good pitching.
Kind of game that looks a manager really smart, doesn't it?
That's it. That's when you find out. That's what you find out what can do. See, they say the pitchers, the rule is pitchers can't make good managers. Mm-hmm. You know who started that rumor? Utility infielders who couldn't get in the game.
And by the way, for those of you who don't remember or don't know, that comes from the mouth of a former left-hand pitcher.
That's right.
Tommy Lasorda, who had a 20-year career. You told me 200
17 managers in the Hall of Fame, and only one of them was an ex-pitcher.
Really?
Absolutely.
You told me and Frank during the break that in your 20 years as Dodger manager, 200 managers were fired over that
20
span?
years, 200 managers. That's right.
Oh.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they didn't win. You got to win. I'm telling you. You got to win. If you don't win, hey, listen, my first 5 years, I was won World Series 3 times.
Well, we finally have a base runner, and it's David DeJesus, the former Royal, with 2 outs, and he's going to try for 3. And the manager up here in the booth, Tommy Lasorda, is probably thinking with 2 outs, he better be safe at third base, right?
That's right. I liked him when I saw him with Kansas City. Mm-hmm. I really liked him as a player.
Really good player. This is an unfair question, but I know fans love things like this, Tommy. But who was your favorite guy to manage? Who came up to the plate and every time you thought, I'm going to jump out of my manager's role here and I'm a fan?
Well, let me just say this. I remember I was about 12 years old and I went with my father to visit a family. And the guy said, Sam, you got 5 sons. Which one of those sons do you love the best? And I thought, he's got to say me. And my father spoke broken English. Spoke broken English and said, which one of these fingers do I like the best? So I have so many guys that I can tell you honestly, I loved them. They're great guys. They were great ball players, and they're the guys that put me in the Hall of Fame.
Ttommy, thanks for stopping by.
And
great
good to see you again. Tell your mom hello for me.
I will.
Thank you, Tommy.
Frank, always great seeing you. You're a great player, and you're a great person, and that means a lot.
Game is just rolling along. We've only had one base runner. Now Chris Getz, keeping that theme in mind, swings at the first pitch and grounds out to short. He is 0 for 2. A reminder to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in tonight's game. I can think of a couple of little motivational speeches we got from Tommy Lasorda tonight that would qualify for the Taste Greatness moment.
Oh, well, I would too. I mean, he's one of those guys you don't want to ask him any questions because he gives you so much.
Now, he was a great baseball mind. I mean, you don't go to the Hall of Fame unless you know the game, but it doesn't take very long to listen to him now and see why he was such a great motivator as a manager and how he could take young players or veteran players and inspire them to run through a wall for him. Melky Cabrera is 0 for 2, and then there's the World Championships that he had and the Rookies of the Year and the MVPs, on and on. But as far as creating a team and getting the marginal players to elevate their game, that's a guy that'll get you fired up pretty quickly.
Well, I tell you what, he motivates you. He'll tell you at 80% is better than this guy at 100%. He'll just keep it going that way. But the one thing that I liked that he said was that he didn't take any of the credit himself. He gave it all to his players, and he said, this is why I'm in the Hall of Fame, because I had good players.
It's been a very well-pitched game tonight. Luke Kochaver's given up 1 runner in 4 innings. Brandon McCarthy hasn't given the Royals anything in 3 2/3. He got Alex Gordon to ground out in the first inning. And now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, but you don't manage as long as he did, Ryan, and you don't know something. And the one thing he said, 200 managers were fired in my 20 years. He said, you have to win.
You know how I got to the Hall of Fame? I won. And Alex down to his knees after fouling one off of his foot. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coming up on the next homestand, we'll get a taste of interleague play. The Cardinals will be here Friday, May the 20th until Sunday, May the 22nd. And great tickets are still available for all 3 games. Friday is a fireworks Friday, and Sunday a family fun day Sunday. Those tickets will go fast, so call 1-800-6-ROYALS or go to Royals.com to get those seats. Derek Barton to the bag, and 4 perfect innings for Brandon McCarthy. And Brandon McCarthy has pitched 4 perfect innings so far, and with the exception of 1 hitter, Luke Kochaver has matched him.
Well, it's been a good game to this point. It's moving right along. I probably shouldn't have said that, but getting ground balls, and both pitchers are around the plate, and the hitters are more than ready to swing the bat tonight.
Strike two, Hideki Matsui. Luke Hochevar retired the first 11 A's until David DeJesus tripled with 2 outs last inning. Matsui flied out to left his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals have batted 4 times tonight, and in 3 of those 4 innings, the inning has been shorter than 2 minutes.
And I think a lot of that is because Brandon McCarthy throwing strikes. And the old saying is if a pitcher strike one all the time, you swing the bat. You don't want to get behind. If he's ball one, you take more pitches. But I'm sure Kevin Seitzer would want him to see more pitches than that.
Past a diving Aaron Hosmer and up the right field line. Francoeur to second base and very close, but Matsui beats the throw.
And Luke was able to get another ground ball and got under Hosmer's glove. And Francoeur did a real good job getting over to cut this ball off and made a nice throw into second base. And you see this effort here just under the glove.
Eighth double for Matsui, and that puts an end to a personal 0 for 10. And the A's have a runner at second base with nobody out. Kurt Suzuki at the plate. He grounded out to short first time up, and Hochevar throws strike 1.
A good pitch here, Ryan. Just look at the movement on this pitch. It started off in the middle of the plate and moves to the outside, to the inside. And I think when you're throwing good sinkers, that's how you have to do it. Just throw it in the middle of the plate, let the ball play out.
One and one.
I always wondered why, when guys do throw good sinkers, I always wondered why catchers move out of the middle of the plate inside to a right-hander. I mean, I can see you moving off the plate to try to catch the outside corner to a right-hander, but I don't know why you would move to the inside corner. If you throw it down the middle, it should move there on its own.
Because the goal of a sinker, or what is referred to as a two-seam fastball, is to give the hitter the impression that it's right down the middle, and he takes that type of a swing and then the late movement.
Right, and so if you sit inside, then it's going to move off the plate like the previous pitch. So if you want to go inside, most pitchers opt to go inside with a four-seamer because it stays straight.
Not a very good looking swing, but a productive out, and Hochevar is going to have to chase Suzuki back to the third base dugout. So there's some good sportsmanship. Rather than continue back to home plate, Suzuki just stopped and allowed Hochevar to tag him out.
Well, you don't see that very often either. He said, okay, follow me.
There you go. Okay.
If he crosses, correct me if I'm wrong now, if he comes back and crosses home plate in the foul, he's out automatically, right?
Infield in for the Royals, and Andy LaRoche takes inside for ball one. He played it short last night, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Born, raised, and still lives in Fort Scott, Kansas. One and one.
Yeah, Suzuki goes back to the bench. His thumbs are probably sore, but he says, man, I got the job done. I got him over to third base.
Two balls, 1 strike. Told you last night, LaRoche made the club as a non-roster player, so the deck was stacked against him, and mostly a third baseman in his career, but played shortstop last night. He had never played short as a professional until making the A's. He's at second base tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he's pretty much a utility infielder, so if you're going to be a utility infielder, you almost have to be able to play at least 2 of those positions. Normally it's third base and second base, but in his case, he's playing all 3.
Going to be a play at the plate. Escobar to Trainer. And Matsui also trying to escape to the third base dugout. Called for out of the baseline before he was tagged out. So that leadoff double and a runner at third with one out is erased. 2 down.
Well, Matsui's speed run, I'm really surprised he was going on this ground ball.
Going to be a play at the plate.
Escobar makes a nice throw. Now they got him in a rundown. He tried to stay in the rundown long enough to get LaRoche to second base, but LaRoche made no attempt to go to second base at all. So normally when you have Matsui's speed, you make this ball go through the infield before you send him home on this play. And you take Mike Gallego, he didn't seem like he was too excited about the outcome of that play.
Kuzminoff on one hop to Escobar. Over to Getz, and that's the inning. Luke Kochaver gets around a leadoff double. Here is tonight's AT&T trivia question. With Eric Hosmer making his big league debut last night, we ask you, who are the 4 Royals to be named American League All-Stars as first baseman? Billy Butler, Jeff Francoeur, Eric Hosmer here in the 5th inning. 4 perfect innings for Brandon McCarthy. Kuzminoff, a very good defensive third baseman, and good plays on both sides. Barton picking the low throw.
When you look at Billy's at bats, and this ball here really got in on him, and he hit it in a good spot, but didn't really hit it that hard. And Kuzminoff, he was able to cut it off and get him at first base. But that ball that Billy hit, normally that's to see how he rolled over on that pitch right there. Normally he gets inside that pitch and drives that ball back into left center field. So when you're not going good, you can always look at the quality of the pitch you're swinging at, and then are you getting through the ball like you normally do? Drive the ball to right center, back through the middle. Right now, it's almost like it's a little late, and when he goes the other way, it's usually a foul ball line drive to right field, and it's not standing between the lines.
Francoeur almost hit by the pitch, 1-1. He struck out looking at a curveball in the 2nd inning. McCarthy struck him out on 3 pitches. Brandon McCarthy has 2 strikeouts tonight. Caught by Barton, so 2 well hit balls in this inning, but right into the A's defense. You can secure your seat to the 2012 All-Star Game with season tickets, and when you buy 2 season tickets, you get 2 free, starting at just $7 per game. 816-504 4040 or Royals.com. McCarthy has pitched well, but he's gotten some help from his defense tonight. And Eric Hosmer came very close to getting his first big league hit in the second inning, but he lost it on a diving play by left fielder Josh Willingham. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. McCarthy had a 6-pitch first inning, 16 in the second, 11 in the third, 7 in the fourth, and he's only thrown 8 pitches in this inning. Hit hard, and there's the first base hit for the Royals, and the first major league hit for Eric Hosmer. If you don't think the fans are into this one, man, they all stood up as one as soon as the ball got through.
You're right, Ryan. They're hoping as hard as Hosmer. They really want Eric Hosmer to do well, and I think everything he does that's on a positive note, he's going to get this kind of ovation for a while.
And you could see it coming. The Royals have hit 3 balls hard in this inning against McCarthy. Mike Aviles struck out in the third inning. Billy Butler lost his hit on a good play. Frank Coeur lined out, and then Hosmer.
Well, Andy LaRoche had very little time to react to this hard ground ball. You can see how fast it gets through the infield. So that's kind of live bat he has, and the fans with him, they got a couple things to watch to get excited about Eric Hosmer. Not only his offense, but his defense. And last night, as we saw, his base running can surprise you also. And he was telling me a story today about AAA, and I asked him was he on his own in AAA, and he said that with Moose in front and Robbie behind him, he wasn't running. And Rusty came down and said, hey, look, this is the minor leagues. We have to develop players down here, so we can't think like that. So he started running and had 3 stolen bases before he came up.
He had 14 stolen bases last year. That surprised me when I saw that. He had 11 at Wilmington and then 3 at Northwest Arkansas. Aviles was doing a lot of things on that pitch. He went too far in an abbreviated swing and was bending backward at the same time.
Oh, man. Well, that goes back to what you're talking about, that sinker that starts in the middle of the plate and the hitter commits, and all of a sudden it starts to run in on him, and he doesn't know whether to swing or duck out of the way.
Aviles has hit in 6 straight. RBI triple last night. He had a stolen base, his 8th, which is 4th most in the league. I was talking to Doug Sisson about Eric Hosmer, and he said Hosmer's a very good base runner. When I brought up his 14 steals from a year ago, and Doug Sisson also said, get used to this. These players in the minor leagues, they are being taught this aggressive style of running, how to steal bases. So don't be surprised when guys come up from the minor leagues and they know how to run the bases. Aviles flies out to left field. The Royals get their first hit, and at the end of 5, no score. He has his first big league hit, and the Royals can breathe a little easier. They have their first hit tonight. What do you think, Frank? Mike Sweeney, did George go to the All-Star game after he moved over to first base?
I believe he did.
John Mayberry? Willie Aikens?
I don't know, would Wally Joyner be? No, not Wally Joyner.
We've been given a hint, 2004. Geez, 2004. Okay, it must have been a first baseman when Mike Sweeney was on the disabled list. Ah, there's a hint. That's right, Ken Harvey.
Hit 287 that year.
1-2 on Cliff Pennington. Luke Hochevar retired the first 11 tonight, and David DeJesus tripled with 2 outs. He did not score. Hideki Matsui led off last inning with a double. The A's got him to third with 1 out, but didn't get him home. So 1 hit for the Royals, 2 hits for the A's through 5 innings.
You know, both pitchers have done a good job keeping the ball down and keeping it out of the air.
Hochevar has his 3rd strikeout. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson. The producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. So let's see if the A's are ready with an adjustment. 3rd time through the order. Only 2 hits. First 2 times through, both extra base hits. Coco Crisp is grounded out to the right side both times, and now he's jammed. Escobar runs out into center and runs it down.
Now, Ryan, you made a statement last night about Escobar and how much ground he does cover. You said it's 9 Escobars on the field, but you see the range that he has going into the outfield. He's coming from the shortstop side, and he's over on the second base side making this play. I mean, that's just how quickly he gets off the mark, and you see how far on that side of the bag, plus he's deep in the outfield.
One ball, 1 strike. Derek Barton has struck out and flied out to center field. Did not play last night. Connor Jackson was at first, and then appeared to injure himself on the final play of the game, reaching for a throw to first, and his left arm getting locked up with Matt Traynor, who is going up the line. That could have been a wrist, an elbow, a shoulder.
That was an ugly scene there. Plus, he had his legs up underneath him. That could have been an ankle or knee injury. You can take a look at his whole body here. Now watch his legs. His arm goes back. His legs get caught underneath him. Everything starts happening right there. So any injury you could think of could have happened on that play right there.
He was able to hang on. Gerard Dyson was the runner at second base, and if that ball falls out of his glove, the game is tied. Instead, the game was over. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Derek Barton.
Well, Luke did a pretty good job on Derek Barton, that hard breaking ball down and underneath his swing. Then he came inside with a fastball. Now this is slower curveball, but the hard breaking ball underneath the swing worked for him earlier.
Fouled into the Royals dugout. No walks for Hochevar. He had 4 in his last start. That was over 6 1/3 innings. Slice to left. Alex is there, and that's the inning.
We go to our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is David Taylor from North Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, David will win $400. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, David would win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
All right, David, you have Matt Trainer, Alcides Escobar, Chris Getz. If anybody gets on, Melky Cabrera. Royals have 1 hit so far against Brandon McCarthy. Eric Hosmer's first major league hit, a solid base hit to right field with 2 outs last inning. Off the end of the bat, shallow right, and it drops in front of DeJesus. So leadoff man on for Alcides Escobar, and we take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Where does Alcides Escobar rank among American League shortstops? Most starts, 3rd most stolen bases, tied for 4th most hits and runs scored. 1st in total chances. That's why he's here, for the total chances part of it. Right now the offense is just bonus material.
Well, just 2 words there, range factor, because he's going to get to a lot more balls than a lot of shortstops in this league.
Escobar showed bunt, and now McCarthy throwing over to first to see if Escobar would tip his hand. Will he square around? Will he swing away? Will the Royals try a hit and run?
A game like this, they probably be sacrificing this late in the game, and if that doesn't work, then you could probably switch to a hit and run at that point.
He grounded out to short in the 3rd inning.
No, the 6th inning, a lot of times a little early, but the way the McCarthy's pitching, then you have to look at both ways. So, but Ned's been pretty opportunistic and good timing in terms of, this is a game where guys pitching well. How do I mess the game up for him? How do I create a hole? How do I create a 1st and 3rd situation? And that's the best way, is to put on a hit and run. But if it looks like your hitter's going to be overmatched, then that's when you go to the bunt.
Pitch out. So the A's weren't thinking bunt. They were thinking hit and run, but Trainer wasn't going anywhere. 2 balls, 1 strike. McCarthy retired the first 14 tonight until Hosmer singled with 2 outs in the 5th. Base hit left field. So that time Ned Yost just allowed Escobar to swing away. No bunt, no hit and run, and the Royals have 2 on with nobody out.
I think Ned knows that McCarthy's around the plate, but he got this ball up, and Alcides was able to take advantage of it. I mean, there's a perfect pitch to hit for his swing.
Base hit left field. Now the A's can expect a bunt. And Chris Getz leads the league with 5 sacrifice bunts. The A's are already in on the corners. And Getz lays it down. Will force McCarthy to play it. And the throw is in time. McCarthy in his last start, he made 2 errors. And both were fielding bunts. And it led to 4 unearned runs. He fields this one cleanly. Back to tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Justin Verlander threw a no-hitter today against the Blue Jays in Toronto. And right now 69% against 29%. I think that his was more impressive than Francisco Liriano's. Infield in halfway. Melky Cabrera has grounded out twice, and he takes inside, ball 1.
Yeah, same way here with Trainer on third base. You got to be wondering if they're going to put the contact play on, because he's not very fast or anything at one of those infielders. They're going to have a play at the plate. So a lot of times you make this ball go through, and then you don't see it with Cabrera, but you know the squeeze is always there too for manager Ned Yost.
Off the end of the bat and off the tip of the glove of Pennington. 1 run is home. Escobar thought about going to the plate. He could have, as the throw is wild. For a moment, it looked like Escobar was in no man's land. He would have been out if he had gone to the plate, and it looked like the A's had a shot to get him at third. But all hands are safe, and the Royals lead 1-0.
Well, you can see this ball just barely gets off the end of the glove of Pennington, goes to the left field. And when Escobar comes around third, Eddie Rodriguez is really doing a good job holding him up. He picks Eddie up late, and this is where you get a little confused as to how this ball gets by Kuzminov at third base.
Almost like he didn't see it. He may have lost it in a collection of white t-shirts in the outfield. There is a sign above the waterfalls in left field. A Kansas City Blue Cross Blue Shield sign. I'm trying to line up the angle. Perhaps the ball got caught in that, because Kuzminov looked like he just lost sight of the ball.
Yeah, it was amazing that his reaction time to that pitch. That ball was thrown pretty much over his head.
So Cabrera drives in his 21st, and Alex Gordon grounds one to the right side. He will drive in his 23rd. Royals didn't get a base runner until 2 outs in the 5th, and now an inning later they lead 2-0.
Well, Alex takes advantage of that hole between first and second. I mean, it's there all the time with a man on first, and he pulled it. It sounds like he broke his bat even, but that's such a big open area over there. He hits it in a good spot. And I tell you what, when you hit the ball that direction on the ground like that, nothing's going to stop the first and third situation. Cabrera goes right to third, so you got the same situation all over again. It'd be a good time for Billy Buller to get going.
He is hitless in the series, 0 for 6. And if you go back to the Baltimore series, Billy is 0 for his last 8. He lost a hit last time up on a nice diving play at third by Kuzminov. McCarthy lost his footing as he threw over to first base, almost threw it away. Ball one, down and away. Royals with 2 runs, 5 hits. That's what they came up with last night in the entire game against Gio Gonzalez, Grant Balfour, and Brian Fuentes. Gordon is running, and Butler fouls it into the upper deck. That's tied a season low for the Royals, 5 hits in a game. They've done that 4 times, and we wondered in this series, you put good hitting up against good pitching, and one of the best offensive teams so far in the league against one of the best, if not the best, pitching team in the league. And last night, as it often does, good pitching beat good hitting.
Well, it usually does. But the Royals have been able to take advantage of the defense in this inning. You know, the infield halfway in, the base hit by Escobar to left field, double play depth. Alex gets a base hit to right. Melker gets a base hit to left with the infield. So that's what base runners do. It takes the hitters, the defensive guys out of position, and the Royals hitters have been able to take advantage.
Billy down, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Alex is running, and it's lifted in the air to right field. It'll be deep enough to score Cabrera. So Butler drives in his 14th, and it's a 3-run 6 for the Royals. Well, they just appealed to second base, and I guess the A's are saying that Alex touched second base but then didn't retouch on his way back.
Well, if he stops right on the base, he can stay there. Now he's got to retouch, and now that's where the trouble starts.
Whoa.
Right there. Yeah, once you cross the bag, you got to touch it coming back.
Yeah, but did he just hurdle the bag on his way back?
Right, he never touched it on the way back. That's what they argue.
So there's the touch.
He's off now.
So he's off.
Now he's got to retouch.
The A's are right. Unless maybe it would have been incidental, but maybe his left foot, the tip of his left foot, grazes the top of the bag.
Well, let's take a look at his right heel.
Right? Boy, I don't know.
That'd be so hard to see.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I could see where Bob Guerin is arguing, because if Alex did touch the bag, it doesn't appear that he was trying to touch the bag, and he didn't make an effort to touch the bag.
Well, really, the only one that can see this play is the third base umpire. He's the only one who got a visual on it because they're rotating.
Well, Bob Guerin may have made the mistake of going out and arguing with the wrong umpire, because he went out and talked to James Hoy, the home plate umpire Bill Miller, who is the crew chief in this series. Not normally the crew chief, but the umpire you see there, Alan Porter, is a minor league umpire, so he's filling in as one guy is on vacation. So Bill Miller is the crew chief. He went out to help out James Hoy. That's how you're looking at here, but apparently that was not his call. It was third base umpire Phil Cuzzy. Alex runs again. He touches second base again. This time it's good for his third stolen base. Alex and second base are on a first name basis now.
Well, he stepped on it the last time, and this time he decides to kiss it. He goes in, he goes in head first, gives it a big hug. But this is what you do, Ryan. You get when chaos starts on the field, you just keep adding to the pressure. You keep the game speeding up.
Kuzminoff throws out Francoeur. He needs a good stretch from Barton. Royals, with 1 hit in the first 5 innings, get 3 runs in the 6th. And we remind you that Pepsi Max is proud to be the official soft drink of the Royals and the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. Look for these special edition Frank White Pepsi Max cans at your neighborhood Hy-Vee. Frank will be at Hy-Vee in Prairie Village on Friday, May 20th from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So stop by. You'll pick up a free can of Pepsi Max. Say hi to Frank. Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. How did it go today in Shawnee?
Outstanding. The fans came out in groves. Solid hour. They were all talking about how well the team's been playing, and I thought I'd get more Eric Hosmer questions, but I didn't, man. They more or less was saying how great a job we were doing. So they give us a good pat on the back. I like that.
So what's in those Pepsi Max cans then?
Good stuff.
I mean, if it's got the people at Hy-Vee complimenting us, I mean, we had to serve it to the world.
It was all about us.
Oh, okay.
It was all about us. I mean, we need that pat on the back too. You know, we're on the same schedule as the players, so kind of neat to know that the people at home are watching and had an opportunity to come out and share their thoughts.
Three balls, 2 strikes. David DeJesus tripled with 2 outs in the 4th inning, and that was the A's first hit.
Yeah, this is a real good pitch right here. I mean, this ball ran a long way back. You see a lot of right-handed pitchers use that for left-handed hitters, but you don't see a lot of left-handed pitchers use it on right-handed hitters.
All right, good point. Well, Royals fans, you can enjoy the game from a unique view at Rivals Sports Bar, located in the outfield just beyond the stadium's signature fountains. You'll enjoy one-of-a-kind seating with drinks and food on deck. For more information for reserving your table, visit Royals.com/rivals. And if you get here early enough, and if you stay late enough, you can watch Royals Live with Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, and Paul Splittorff. One ball, 1 strike on Josh Willingham. He is flied out to center field and grounded out to third. His biggest contribution so far tonight was a diving play in left field on a fly ball from Eric Hosmer. We thought for a moment that would be Hosmer's first hit. He had to wait another at bat and then single to right in the 5th.
You know, one thing I noticed about all the young players that they brought to spring training this year, Ryan, was how confident all of them were, and everything they said all the right things. You know, they believed in the direction of the ball club. They believed that they were going to be a part of turning this thing around for the Royals, and I haven't just sensed any doubt in anyone that I've talked to about their confidence level.
Hosmer almost collided with Jeff Francoeur, and he was somehow able to make the catch.
Well, all you have here, Ryan, is the first baseman has got a lot of range down the line, and this is the things that they're going to have to really get used to. Is Eric Hosmer covers a lot of ground where Francoeur is not used to your first baseman being down that far, so they got to get used to playing with each other, and that play will be a little more simpler for them.
You can check in at today's game with At Bat 11 to receive valuable offers and enjoy game replays, stats, and more. Get At Bat 11 by texting At Bat, one word, to 42682. Message and data rates may apply. Ball 1-2, Hideki Matsui. He doubled leading off the 5th inning. The A's got him to third with 1 out, but couldn't get him home. He tried to score on a ground ball to short, was caught in a rundown, and was thrown out. So 2 hits in 6 2/3 innings for the A's against Luke Hochevar, trying to beat the A's for the first time in his career. Stroke to right center field. That's deep. And Cabrera tried to cut it off deep. Unable to do so, but Matsui doesn't run well, so he's into second base with a double. So 2 out of 3, and both hits are doubles.
Well, I think you were just right on with that. This ball started inside, moved out in the middle of the plate, and Matsui was sitting there waiting on it. And Melky did try to cut this ball off and couldn't get it done, but I think the lack of speed from Matsui really made this play insignificant, really. I mean, but with a faster runner, you want to take a deeper route and try to catch. You know, they always say you got to give ground to gain ground when you're trying to go at angles, and that's what you probably do on a faster runner.
Now Kurt Suzuki pounds it to third. Aviles charges, and that's the inning. A's leave a runner at second base. Royals. Eric Hosmer will lead off. He has his first major league hit out of the way. It is tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
All right, he gets that first hit out of the way. A hard ground ball to right field. He's got his first ground ball. He's got his first stolen base. Got his first base hit. How about his first home run?
Is that a call?
I'm scared to do that. But how about it though? You got to co-sign it for me, and that's a call.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say nah. I don't want to see that. McCarthy misses outside for ball one. Hosmer came close to getting his first big league hit in the second inning on a fly ball to left center, but Josh Willingham came sprinting over from left to dive and make the play. 1-1. Mike Aviles on deck, and then Matt Trainer. Royals didn't get a base runner until Hosmer's hit with 2 outs in the 5th. And then they scored 3 in the 6th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
Well, guys, it was a little more calm in the clubhouse today. Not all the media here, not all the news conferences for Eric Hosmer caught up with him. He said yesterday's game felt like it took place in 10 minutes. He said 3-2 count against Fuentes. He said no nerves, just a lot of excitement. He could not believe how loud it was here. He said he couldn't hear himself think at all. He said it was one of the more amazing experiences of his lifetime. He's got many more to come, guys.
Hey, there's your Twitter account, Joel. How about that? But Frank, they don't put up your Twitter account when they put you on camera.
I don't have one.
You don't?
No. I mean, there's enough avenues out there for people to gain information than have it come from me other than on the broadcast.
Past first base coach Doug Sisson.
Ryan, I get tweets every single day, and of course now they're all going to come again. Where's Ryan on Twitter? When is Ryan going to get on Twitter? Over and over, pretty much that version every single day.
Well, I don't know how many times we go to you during the game, but I'd never noticed that before.
I think it might be new, but I keep trying to explain to people that they're probably not going to see on Twitter.
Reaching, and Hosmer still hit it hard. In fact, it fooled Coco Chris. That was not Hosmer's best balanced swing, but he's so strong. Coco Chris came sprinting in for it, and that ball stayed up. It carried.
It was starting to take off on him. The ball's down. You can see his lower half is gone, but he's got his upper body over the ball, and that's where the strength of this swing comes from. And even like you say, even he reaches for it a little bit, the ball is still starting to take off a little bit.
Aviles after the first pitch and pops out to Derek Barton. He is 0 for 3. I was talking to our good buddy Mark Nasser, radio voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, longtime radio voice, and just getting an update on Eric Hosmer after driving home from the game on Thursday. And he said he's never seen a player, and this is a guy who's seen a lot of baseball at the AAA level, he's never seen a player hit the ball so hard, so consistently up the middle. Everything was up the middle. Wasn't hitting a lot of home runs. Only had 3 home runs, but everything, it seemed, was hit hard, and it was somewhere between left center field and right center field.
Well, it's probably similar to what we just saw.
Yeah, good point. I mean, even when he's fooled and he's off balance, he hits the ball hard up the middle.
Well, we saw him in spring training, and we saw him. I saw him hit home runs at left center field, home runs at straightaway center, and home runs at right and right center field. So, I mean, he's got that kind of power. And you watch him in batting practice. I mean, the ball just has a different sound off his bat when he squares it up.
Matt Trainer started the Royals 3-run 6 with a single. Came home on Melky Cabrera's base hit that went off the glove of shortstop Chad Pennington. Make that Cliff Pennington. I got confused with Penningtons that wear green. A little high, and that's the first walk from Brandon McCarthy. It's only the 7th walk he's given up all year, and we're talking about over 47 innings.
Well, this really is a pitch that's a little too close to take. It's at the top of the strike zone. You don't want to leave that to the umpire too many times. But it seems like the games of late, when Trainer and Escobar get on base, things happen. And they get on base. It goes back to the front. Chris Getz can bunt them over. And now they got a few runs on the board.
Pennington, Cliff that is, goes out to make the catch. The Royals are scoreless in the 7th. They lead 3-0. around the American League presented by Panera. Boston shuts out Minnesota. Clay Buchholz beating Brian Dunsing. Tampa Bay over Baltimore. Detroit 9-0 over Toronto. Justin Verlander with his second career no-hitter. His first was in 07. Texas is in front of New York, so Tampa Bay could tie the Yankees in the East. In Oakland's division, the Angels with a 2-game lead over both the A's and the Rangers. Royals are 4.5 back of Cleveland in the Central. Luke Hochevar has pitched an excellent game. 1 ball, 1 strike against Andy LaRoche. He has given up only 3 hits, all extra base hits. The A's unable to get that runner home. LaRoche is 0 for 2. He is one of 3 Hochevar strikeout victims. No walks allowed by Luke, so he's making a struggling offense swing the bat. Trying to go 8 innings for the first time this year. 3 balls, 1 strike. Luke has previously gone 7 innings twice this year. Aaron Crow warming up behind him in the Royals bullpen. Might have been ball 4. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lower third coming up. LaRoche, Kuzminoff, and Pennington. Over Aviles, and it'll be cut off by Alex Gordon. So a leadoff single for LaRoche. Hey, Joel, hang on. Before you give that foul ball away, you might want to write your Twitter account on the baseball.
Tommy Lasorda has a Twitter account, first of all.
Does he really?
He does. I thought you'd enjoy that. I'm looking for a kid. We're going to go right down here.
Find one with a glove. We don't want a lawsuit here.
There we go. At Tommy Lasorda.
Nice job, Joel. So Hochevar will go 7 innings plus 1 hitter. 25,000 here tonight. And they will stand and applaud Luke's effort. Royals make a Chevy call to the bullpen, and in comes Aaron Crow. Eighth inning, trying to even the series at 1 game apiece. Final game of the homestand is tomorrow, and during the next homestand we'll have part 1 of the I-70 series. St. Louis Cardinals are here Friday, May the 20th through Sunday, May the 22nd, and there are great seats still available for all 3 games. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Lukochaver trying to improve to 4-3. He departs after giving up a base hit to Andy LaRoche. And Ned Yost goes with a fresh arm and brings on Aaron Crow to pitch to Kevin Kuzminoff.
Well, Aaron Crow is just Aaron Crow. He just comes out, and first batter efficiency is what he's really been good at. You know, I think Ned looked at the 3-1, 3-2 pitch from Hosmer. Both pitches were elevated. He gave up a base hit, so he probably figured that was about it. He's probably going to go hitter by hitter with him in that inning.
The A's counter with a move. So Kuzminoff, a right-hand batter, hitting now below 200. And Bob Guerin brings on left-hand hitting Ryan Sweeney, who's swinging the bat very well. That's another hit for him. He is 8 for his last 12. On his way to third is LaRoche, and down to second is Sweeney.
All right, when you got a 3-0 lead this late in the game, there's a base hit up the middle. Aaron Crow leaves his ball out over the plate. It gets hit back up the middle now. This is when you got to manage the game right here. Melky's got to know for sure that he can get this runner going to third base. Otherwise, he's got to throw the ball to second base and keep the double play in order. You always feel better with first and third than you do with second and third, no outs.
And now Cliff Pennington. He's grounded out to short and struck out. This is the A's first look at Aaron Crow. That's the first time, by the way, that he has not retired the first batter he has faced. One ball, one strike. The Oakland A's won last night 3-2, so just enough to scratch out a win. That was the 9th time in their last 11 games that they've scored 3 runs or less. 9 of their last 11. That just tells you how good their pitching has been. Normally, when you bring up a statistic like that, you're talking about a team that is well below 500, but the A's are 1 game above 500. Belted to right field. Back goes Francoeur, and the game is tied. So the first runs that Aaron Crow allows all season results in a 3-run home run and a no decision for Lukochaver.
Well, that's one thing about this game. It can change pretty quick, and here it does right here for Aaron Crow. Fastball, middle end. Pennington hits it in the right field bullpen.
Wow. Just a stunned silence at Kauffman Stadium. And now Coco Crisp jolts it to right field. Back goes Francoeur, and that's off the chain link. And Coco Crisp is at second base with nobody out. The Oakland A's had 3 hits in the first 7 innings. They have 4 straight hits here in the 8th. Does this remind you of the 5th inning last night?
Well, it really does. When you look at Aaron Crow's fastball, the one that Pennington that was hit, and you look at this from right here to Coco Crisp, it just stayed straight. Normally his fastball will have some run to it, but those 2 fastballs just stayed straight. They were middle in, and they got hit hard.
Well, this isn't the first time that Aaron Crow has had something like this happen to him, but it's the first time it's happened to him in the big leagues. So he must be somewhat jolted as well, just as jolted as Royals dugout and the 25,000 fans here tonight. So Tim Collins warming up behind him, warming up quickly. So Bob McClure out there to accomplish a couple of things. Try and lift the spirits of Aaron Crow and give Collins some time to warm up.
Well, you look at the zone of this pitch here. This runs out over the plate. Now, that's the kind of run that you used to see in Aaron Crow's fastball have. Now, this one to Pennington is straight, and this one to Coco Chris is straight. Didn't have the move to it. If it moves to the end of the bat, then you got a ground ball. It was a base hit. It was a ground ball up the middle.
Now strike on Derek Barton. He is 0 for 3. He did line out to left his last time up. He has not laid down a sacrifice bunt yet this year. No balls, 2 strikes. That's his best pitch since he's come in. 97 at the knees. Bob McClure out to talk to Aaron Crow, and it was Bob McClure that Aaron Crow passed for the Royals rookie record for consecutive scoreless innings. Coco Crisp doesn't go anywhere, and the throw to first is just in time.
Well, you look at a guy with Coco Chris speed. If he's coming off the base with a good secondary lead, once that ball's hit on the ground and goes in the air, now he's got a little time. He's got time to get to third base if he's ready to go. And I think if you go back and ask him, he'll probably feel like I should have been at third base. And you know, Hosmer does a good job just keeping his foot out of the way and make sure that glove don't get caught in the baseline.
And now David DeJesus with an opportunity to sting his former team. David tripled with 2 outs in the 4th inning, and that was Oakland's first hit. Both Luke Hochevar and Brandon McCarthy were very strong early in the game. Hochevar retired the first 11. McCarthy the first 14. Into center field. That's well hit. Cabrera is back, and he makes the catch. Coco Crisp goes to third base, and I'm sure in the A's dugout they're thinking one batter too late. That would have scored a run.
Yeah, I still think he's frustrated about that. You know, you can just kind of look at his body reaction and can tell you that he really thinks he should have been at third base on that high hopper in front of the plate.
So he's at third with 2 outs, and now Josh Willingham. A violent swing, and he fouls it back.
Well, Aaron Crow missed his spot by a lot. He was supposed to have that ball on the inner half, and it was right down the middle of the plate. And Willingham had a real good swing at it. So I tried to pick one thing about Aaron's fastball tonight. It just doesn't seem to have the same action that it normally has. It's more straight than I've seen it all year.
1-1. He's given up 3 hits in this inning. Before this inning, he had given up 8 hits in 15 1/3 innings. The league was hitting 154 against him.
Well, that's a good changeup right here. You don't see that pitch from him very often. But
still 1-2. Andy LaRoche started the inning with a single. That was against Hochevar. Aaron Crow coming on. Gave up a base hit to pinch hitter Ryan Sweeney. Then Cliff Pennington hit a 3-run home run. Coco Crisp doubled. And now he's at third with 2 outs. And he will remain at third. And Willingham is gone. comes out arguing, but his team just tied the game at 3.
Is the score. Whenever this one is over, we will have Boulevard Royals live out at Rivals. Big crowd here. We will break down what happened in this game. Great performance by Lou. Coach Chamber will talk with Paul Splittorff about that. Eric Hosmer's first major league hit. Reaction, highlights, analysis, and much more coming up. And you can text in questions 432-432 space keyword live. Tell us where you're from, your name. We'll try to answer those, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. So here we are, tied at 3 to the bottom of the 8th inning. Brandon McCarthy stays on. Royals have the top of the order, 4th time through. Chris Getz is 0 for 2, and he's laid down a sacrifice bunt. No balls, 2 strikes. Andy LaRoche goes from second base to third base. Mark Ellis is now at second, and Ryan Sweeney is in left. Josh Willingham, who started the game in left field, was ejected after he was called out on strikes in the 8th inning, and maybe he figured I'll get my money's worth because he was going to be coming out of the game anyway.
Well, I tell you, you don't want to give away money if you don't have to.
And that bump,
and then you got
the home plate umpire cost him.
Oh yeah.
Chris Getz, deep right field. Back goes to Jesus. He caught it. So right field, comfortable like an old glove for DeJesus. He knew exactly where he was and made an outstanding play.
What an outstanding play that was by David DeJesus. I mean, like you say, Ryan, he really is familiar with that gate out there, and he knew just where he had to be and made a nice play. I mean, that's a potential game-saving play that he made right there. You know, part of being a real good outfielder is timing, and he timed that ball just right for his jump.
And now 0-2 on Cabrera.
Well, look at it. You couldn't have timed that any better than what you saw right there.
Melky 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It was Cabrera's 21st RBI. The Royals have 4 hitters with at least 20 RBIs. They're the only team in the American League with that. 3rd strikeout for Brandon McCarthy. So he gets a lift after DeJesus play and strikes out Melky. No TV tomorrow. The Royals will have Monday as an off day. It'll be a travel day, and they will travel to New York. 3-game series with the Yankees begins on Tuesday night. 5:30 with Royals Live, and the first pitch is at 6:05. Tuesday night, Kyle Davies against Freddie Garcia. All three games begin at 6:05 Central Time. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alex. He drove in a run with a single in the 6th inning. Brandon McCarthy's last win was 5 starts ago. Left center field. And look out. Who got it? Ryan Sweeney. Lucky he didn't collide chest to chest with Coco Crisp. Leadoff double in the bottom of the 8th inning, but lost that into the glove of David DeJesus. Chevy call to the bullpen. It's Joaquim Soria in the 9th inning. Hideki Matsui, Kurt Suzuki, Andy LaRoche coming up. Luke Hochevar with a tough luck no decision tonight. Gave up 1 run, 3 hits in 7 innings. And Aaron Crow gives up his first runs as a big leaguer. Allowed a 3-run home run to Cliff Pennington. Matsui, right center field, and Francoeur didn't see it. Cabrera comes over from center. It is that time of night where the ball blends in well with the sky.
Just a fastball right down the middle, and you can see Matsui pull off with his fastball. If he stays over it, he hits a little better, but he skies it in the right center field, and it's just twilight time in Kansas City, and that's a tough ball to see.
Now Kurt Suzuki. He has grounded out 3 times tonight. One out of 6 with a double in the past against Soria. 1-1.
Soria's job right here, Ryan, is just to keep the game where it's at and give the offense a chance to get going next inning.
Just missed outside. Royals are still the only team in the American League that has not lost a home series. A's won last night 3-2. And Kurt Suzuki has a 1-out single.
Yeah, Kurt really took advantage of a fastball out over the plate, and when he's swinging good, that's where he's going to hit the ball to right center field, back through the middle.
Andy LaRoche 1 out of 3, and that single knocked Luke Hochevar out in the 8th inning. And he came around to score along with Ryan Sweeney on the Pennington 3-run home run. Jumping back, and it caught the inside.
But just take a look at it here. Ball didn't have a lot of run to it. It just more of a straight fastball. But Fox track shows that he had a reason to jump back.
I don't know if that makes Josh Willingham feel any better. And Bill Miller is calling it both ways.
Well, Josh is probably in the clubhouse checking this one out on the tube right now, and he's probably saying, "See, I told you I was right." But it's still going to cost him.
And the pitch to him was a little bit more inside than the 1-2 LaRoche. Got him. 2 down in the 9th inning.
Well, you pound a guy inside with fastballs, and then you go away, even though it's off the plate. They have the tendency to chase. This pitch, he really only threw one pitch of the 4 pitches on the plate. But you set one pitch sets up the next pitch, and you get good results.
Now Soria pitches to a very hot hitter in Ryan Sweeney. Came on as a pinch hitter last inning against Aaron Crow and singled to center field. He had a 5-hit game on Thursday, so he is 8 for his last 12, and that gets him up to 359. His on-base percentage plus his slugging percentage is .944. Two and one. Former second-round pick of the White Sox back in 2003. Ryan Sweeney hit his first major league home run against the Royals back in 2007. Hit it off of Scott Ellerton.
And you see Ryan Sweeney with a .359 batting average. Kind of resembles the Twins stats when they were here. We had Jason Kubel being the only guy with big reasonable numbers. Everybody else in the low 200s, and you know they're good, better hitters than that. But for some reason, a lot of hitters are struggling at this time this year.
Suzuki runs and Sweeney fouls it away, and now it's 3-2, so Suzuki will run again. The A's have scored 6 runs in the first 2 games of this series in 2 innings. They had a 3-run 5th inning last night and a 3-run 8th inning tonight.
With Suzuki running on his 3-2 count, the outfielder's got to work hard to cut any ball off that goes in the alley, because there'll be a run on the board if it gets by.
Struck him out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Soria. So we go to the bottom of the 9th, tied up with Billy Butler. He's driven in a run. Jeff Francoeur and Eric Hosmer, who has his first big league hit. Brandon McCarthy pitching into the 9th. Luke Hochevar pitched into the 8th and had 3 strikeouts tonight. Our Chevy plays of the game. He gave up 1 run, 3 hits in 7 innings.
Well, Ryan, he's got to really feel great about this outing today. I mean, he did everything out there that he could to win this ball game for himself. You know, kept the A's off the board and went back to the dugout and one swing and a bat. There's a whole new ball game.
Hochevar ends up with a no decision. He departed the game with a 3-0 lead. The A's got a 3-run home run from Cliff Pennington in the 8th against Aaron Crow. Curveball for a strike from Brandon McCarthy. McCarthy has gone 8 innings twice this year. His first start at Toronto back on April the 5th, and then 2 starts ago at Seattle. And he's been hitting the corners all night. 0-2 to Billy, who is 0 for 2. He did have a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning, his 14th run driven into the year. One and 2.
Yeah, Billy's just fighting a little bit, Ryan. Just don't have that same comfortable feeling at the plate. You can look at the type of swings he's taking. He's rolling over on some balls and really just standing near the right field line on certain balls. So that's Billy Butler right there.
How far will he go? Coco Chris does not have a good arm, but gets to the ball quickly, and Billy holds with a single. And now Gerard Dyson, before Billy can take his shin guard off. Dyson is out of the dugout.
When Dyson rounds bases, he has a tendency to step too much into the center of the base, and you can see that ankle twist. You see him hop up and down after he twisted that ankle before it continued in. So there was some doubt whether or not he'd be able to bounce back tonight.
Didn't waste any time last night. He ran on the first pitch and stole second. Stealing off of Brian Fuentes. Dyson last night running for Wilson Betemeat, who had singled with 2 outs. He stole second. And then Matt Traynor grounded out to end the game. A's pitch out. And Dyson was able to get a look at Brandon McCarthy's move and his move to the plate. Now Dyson goes, and it's grounded through the left side. Gerard will keep running. First and third, nobody out. Out comes Bob Guerin. So they'll talk about what they want to do with Eric Hosmer. One option would be to walk him, load the bases, and have a force anywhere.
Well, you're right, and Dyson gets a great jump off first base, and Francoeur, normally you would take it to give him a chance, but he also has a chance to hit a double and score from first, so he's able to get a base hit and create that first and third situation and put the Royals in the position they're in right now. But you're right, Brian, they do have an option to load the bases and create a force out at every base.
Well, the league is learning all about Gerard Dyson, and they're probably learning, Frank, that he doesn't waste a lot of time. I mean, if he's going to go, he's going to go. And if that's the case, what kind of pitches are the hitters going to get?
Well, he's going to get fastballs for sure, but I'm surprised that they don't pitch out a little bit more. You know, maybe a double pitch out might be what you need, but once he takes off, it's without a doubt, if they don't do the slide step, he's going to steal that base.
And it looks like they will walk Hosmer. So how about that respect in your second major league game? Part of it is respect. Part of it is to set up a righty-righty matchup.
A righty-righty matchup, and also you got to force out at every base.
Hosmer against McCarthy, and this factors into the equation. He is flied to left. It required a diving play to retire him. He is singled sharply to right, and he is lined to center. So he's had 3 good swings against McCarthy. So they're loaded up with nobody out for Mike Aviles. The A's will bring the infield in. They'll bring the outfield in. Aviles has struck out looking, flied to left, and fouled to first.
Well, Brandon McCarthy's going to try to, he's got to be keeping the ball down here. He wants something on the ground.
Strike one. Aviles has a hitting streak on the line here. He has hit in 6 in a row after getting an RBI triple last night. All the Royals need here is a well-placed ground ball or a fly ball. And they get the fly ball. Sweeney in left. Dyson to the plate. Forget it. They're going to appeal at third base. And the appeal is denied. That's the second time tonight the A's have tried to appeal. So the Royals win another walk-off game, their 6th of the year. And they've beaten the series in 1 game apiece. The A on their hat used to stand for athletics. Now it stands for appeal.
Appeal and also angry.
Another 1-run win for the Royals. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. We've got a couple of guests down here. They walked Eric Hosmer to get to Mike Aviles, lift the fly ball to left field, let Gerard Dyson run on home. Take me through that at bat.
Just looking for something up. You know, basically McCarthy owned me all night, so I was just looking for something up that I can get into the outfield knowing that Dice can basically score on anything. So worked out.
I know how much confidence you have in your bullpen when they come back and tie the game. How much confidence then do you have in this team's ability to come back and return the favor late?
We're never out. Like, we're never out of the game. That's just one thing we've shown all season, that no matter how many runs down we are early, you know, we're always there at the end.
All right, final thing for you, Mike, to have the packed houses the last couple of nights, the big crowd, being in this race, what's it been like?
It's awesome. It's fun. You know, we're just coming out trying to win some games, and we got the new guy over here, and he's helping us pack this place.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. I think a few people want to hear from this guy. And it's been a whirlwind of 24 or so hours for you, Eric. Now you got 25,000 people standing here in front of you, many more at home. What do you want to say to all the folks that have been so excited about you being here?
You know, these past 48 hours have just been unbelievable, you know, and I want to just thank everybody for coming out here and showing support for the Royals and for Kansas City, you know, and, you know, it's really motivating when you come out and have all these great fans screaming for you, and, you know, it really motivates the guys, and it's been unbelievable.
You hit the ball hard all night. The first one's taken away from you. Then to be able to get that first hit, what was that moment like for you?
It was good, you know, to finally get that off my back and get the first hit, and you know, we came out with a victory, and that's what matters, you know. And, you know, like Mikey said, this team never quits, and, you know, we were ahead early. They came back, took the momentum, and, you know, it seemed like nothing fazed these guys. And, you know, Dyson, the fastest guy in America on third, it helped us out.
Well, it's a good thing you got the ride to the park from him yesterday. That's a good source to have. Were you surprised there in the ninth inning? You're 21 years old. It's your second day in the big leagues, and they're going with the intentional walk.
Yeah, that was definitely surprising, you know. But looking on the on-deck circle and knowing Mikey's there, and, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that he was going to get it done, and, you know, he did, and we ended up pulling out the victory.
Keep it going. Welcome officially to town, and congratulations. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's the man everybody has been wanting to hear for and enjoying the last couple of days. Eric Hosmer along with Mike Aviles. Ryan, let's go back up to you.
All right, thank you, Joel. And for the record, we talked about the A's appealing at third base. There's the fly ball to left field, which wasn't very deep. It's deep enough when you've got dice in there, and it was close, but we have that synced up, and it appears that Gerard did not leave early. So the Royals win their 6th walk-off of the year. They win their 15th home game of the year. That leads the major leagues. And they win their 9th one-run game of the year. 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th. We'll be right back.